Hello everyone, hello and welcome to the video. This is actually the first video I've made in a while. It felt like I needed to. Okay, so just be gentle. Today I want to talk about the Callisto Protocol. Just a pre-warning guys, this video will be broken up into sections. I'll be spoiling pretty much everything about this game. So if you haven't played it, you should really just stop now and go do that. You should go play it now. Go on. Go on. Go on. Right. Are they gone? Now the squares are gone. Let us cool rounders talk about the game. I will be comparing this to Dead Space. It wants to be. It wants to be compared to Dead Space. I don't care what you say. It does. Alright? So, Daddy'll do his best. Like a sexless dominatrix. Honestly, the gameplay was surprisingly pretty smooth. I mean, compared to when it was first released, there was massive frame rate drops, black screens, and sometimes it would just completely crash. I got this information from Scream Rant. Is it Scream Rant? That's how much I care. Since we're on the subject of glitches, I want to talk about the ones I had. Don't worry, there's not many, surprisingly. Once, and only once, mind you, the lighting effect completely changed colour, which was like really weird at the time, but looking back, the green light was actually pretty cool. Textures would just completely vanish at certain angles. And twice on my second playthrough, I ended up in this weird animation, I want to say, where I'd attack an enemy, and then I'd end up just walking left constantly in a circle. But that was really it for the glitches that I experienced, and that was on 2 playthroughs as well. And the second playthrough, I was going on looking for problems. So I mean, that's actually pretty good. With all that textures and lighting stuff out of the way, all the glitches and shit, let's talk about the absolute obvious thing about this game. This game is gorgeous. When you're standing there watching the pedophiles and B-Wing burn, it really makes you feel alive. Like you threw the match, you know? Stabbing a guard corpse in the spine and ripping out the health bar? Hell yeah! Down with the patriarchy! And when you run into these prototype Terminator looking motherfuckers, you do what you're told. They're yeah. Or you stay out of its sight because these robots are absolutely shit, and their field of vision is about as impressive as Liz Truss's time in number 10 Downing Street. Hello! You know, where the Pope lives. Where was I? Combat! I mean, it's fine. It's there. You have your light attack with the right trigger. Or R2 if you're a PlayStation soy boy. That was a joke. Honestly, that was a joke. I have a PlayStation 2. Please don't cancel.
It was at this moment that he knew.
It was I, Dio!
The right bumper is the heavy attack. I never really used it. I mean, it's really slow and enemies can, and frequently will, bend you over and take you to Pound Town.
Threaten me with a good time!
I mostly spammed the light attack and just dodged out of the way whenever, you know, I was in a fight. Or unless I was using the upgraded baton and I just broke their fucking arms. Wait, 2 potential segues? Which way will I go? I'm gonna dodge out of this one. Yeah, so the dodge mechanic. To dodge, you hold left or right. I'm not kidding, that's it. That's literally it. Want to know how you block? Walk backwards. Look. Devs, I'm not looking for some Dark Souls-y intricate combat system, but seriously, left or right, and hold back to block. Is that really the best you could do? I haven't played Dead Space in a while, but I'm pretty sure Isaac at least had a proper dodge button that gave you some actual, you know, control over the mechanic. Hey guys, KoPro from the future here. I realised after I said that and played the remake that Isaac doesn't have a dodge button. I think he might have in 2 or 3 maybe, that might be what I'm thinking of, but in the original, nope. So I'm talking out my arse here. The dodge system made me want to put a gun to my head. Segway!
I love you, kitchen gun!
Oh, the weapons. Okay, let's start from the top. The first weapon, technically, you get is the Shiv. You can use it to open doors and stealth attack. Right, okay. I actually have something to say about the stealth attack here. I mean, initially I wrote this whole part about how it was like a massive fuck you to the game because I thought the stealth kills were introduced in chapter 6 of a game with 8 chapters in it. I was wrong. This is me owning up to that wrongness. When I was playing it again to test out the stuff that I wrote down to complain about, and that was a big fucking thing. Turned out I was completely wrong, and at the beginning of the game, like chapter 2 I think it was, when it was introduced to me, at the time I literally ran past the prompt and just started beating the guy that it told me to stealth kill. So that's on me. However, the stealth mechanic is kind of fucky though. Oh, I didn't mean to zoom in then. Because sometimes I would like sneak up on an enemy. I'd manage to sneak up on an enemy and stab them, and like everyone else in the room would hear it. But then other times I wouldn't be able to sneak up on them because they would just fucking know I was there. Probably because I shit myself at the very beginning of the game. They could probably smell it. Ooh. Ooh. Or other times I would go up to them and just stealth kill them, but very rarely, and like nothing would happen. So honestly, to me it seemed very inconsistent, so I just never used it. The second weapon you're forced to get is the pick stick. I think it's supposed to be a pickaxe, but the blade is about as long as a snail's penis. It doesn't hit hard and it's pretty shit, to be honest. But don't worry, it gets replaced by the third weapon, the stun baton. Which, it doesn't really stun. I just want to clarify this. It's the stun baton doesn't stun. I didn't write it in here. Unless stunning someone means caving their fucking skull in, then yeah, use it on B-Wing. Cool, yeah, I'm down for that. Give me one, I'll go there. The basic weapon isn't the best either. Like, when you first pick it up, it's better than the pickaxe or pick stick or snail penis, depending on your preference. It would take a while to kill an enemy until you upgraded it. Then it was a fucking powerhouse. It was just stupidly powerful. At that point, I didn't even use guns. No, that's a lie, I did. The second unskippable weapon in the game is the hand cannon. Yes, you heard that right. Hand cannon. This motherfucker uses rounds the size of my thumb. I think. I mean, we never actually see the rounds. I'm just assuming. It's called the hand cannon. I like to imagine it's a 50 cal hand cannon used to subdue prisoners. The gun is pretty powerful for your first weapon, but there's a problem. Jacob the Moist here has the accuracy of a blind man with Parkinson's who has just been told that his entire family would be murdered unless he hit this specific target. God fucking damn it, why can't I get this line out? Jacob the Moist has the accuracy of a blind... Fuck it, you know what? Yeah, forget the joke. Forget it. Fuck it. Then you get the shotgun, which, well, when upgraded, is just overpowered. It's OP as shit. You can kill a lot of enemies very quickly with this bad boy. There's not a lot to say about it, really. It's just a shotgun. I mean, when you're using this thing, blowing motherfuckers away with alpha Chad energy.
His fucking face, man! Oh no, that shit is priceless!
Fun fact, I've never actually fired the shotgun in the game. It's like the Soul Reaver. Once an enemy sees me with it, they just run away. That's a lie. They do so enjoy death. There's some other weapons in the game, but these are missable. There's a smaller sidearm shotgun. It's pretty shit. Then you have the tactical pistol, which I was all excited for, but I mean, it's pretty weak. Finally, there's the assault rifle, which is right. I haven't fully upgraded it at all because like the final upgrades are like $4.5 grand each, which in this game is very fucking hard to get. And I mean, it's all right. Like it's not an assault rifle like you'd think it would be. Anyway, it's they're enemies. What more do you want? Alright. Actually, I do have one or two things to say about them. In Dead Space, the enemies are fucking terrifying from word go. Warped monstrosities with bladed arms and exposed organs, and the flesh was torn and stretched over this disgusting frame, and it was like the remains of a human face were just stretched over it. Oh! The Dead Space necromorphs were crafted with not love, more the desire to cause nightmares in as many people as possible for the rest of their lives. Why am I talking about Dead Space so much and just sucking it off all of a sudden? What's my video? Fuck you. But also because there's not a whole lot to say about the enemies of the Callisto Prolapse. They feel generic. They're just like lumpy humans. Alright, that's not fair. They're covered in boils and lumps. And that's it. That's all of them. Like, that's like the main... That's the very first enemy you're introduced to. Now, again, compare this with Dead Space, which, I'm sorry, but this is what it wanted. Because it was like, from the creators of Dead Space. The very first enemy you see in Dead Space just drops out of a vent, and then it just fucks shit up, and it is terrifying. And then you instantly have to run from it, because you can't fight it. The very first enemy you find in this one, it just sort of there, and you just kill it straight away. So, the story isn't so much a mess as it is, okay, imagine a thick, beautiful steak, dripping with story elements. That makes sense, and taste amazing. Well, this isn't that. Imagine cardboard, dipped in boring sauce, with a side helping of generic. Okay, that might be like really unfair of me because like it's clear I didn't really like this game. So play the game yourself and be the judge of yourself. This is my own personal subjective opinion about this game. It's a bit late for me to say this. But yeah, all of this is my own subjective thing. I'm not like going out there telling you shouldn't fucking buy this. I'm literally only making this because people keep asking me my opinions. These are my opinions. That's all. Our story begins with a woman walking through a town. Bodies are left where they fell, all of them clearly dead from some kind of disease, and someone is watching from the CCTV surrounding the area. Okay, not gonna lie, this opening really did intrigue me. However, this annoys me. We're gonna talk about this later. She's some sort of terrorist. It's never really explained what she's a terrorist for, like what her ideology is. She's just terrorist. It's not even said what she's done. I think they just slapped that label on her so that she can be called like a freedom fighter later. But yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. Then we're introduced to Jacob, the sweatiest protagonist I have ever played as. Why is he so sweaty? This man sweats constantly. Eventually we're boarded by the woman from earlier and her gang of freedom terrorists. Jacob presses a button and the whole ship just starts blowing up. Maybe he pressed the explode button instead of the lock button. I don't know. We crash and our very memorable co-pilot, I've genuinely forgotten his name. I even forgot to write it in my script. So we crash and we end up getting rescued by that soldier from The Walking Dead and his pet Terminator. And he actually seems to care whether you and your friend live or die.
And we'll just need the one. Okay, get you out of here.
The fuck are you looking at?
Why? Okay, inmates do not speak unless they are spoken to.
And then we're just suddenly inmates now? Because...
Listen, you know they call Callisto the dead moon. Dead. Just like you would have been if I hadn't fished you out of that wreck. I mean, shit. As far as anyone else is concerned, you are dead. It's time you moved on. Because you're crossing over to a new kingdom.
No.
My kingdom.
What? You just put us in prison because what? Because you helped us? Because it gives you a chub? What is it, Sam? He seductively touches our shoulder with his fisting gauntlet, and we submit. I'm kidding, of course. This is where we get our health bar. Wait, what? Just like in Dead Space, they decided not to go with the traditional HUD system and instead it had to be part of the game world. But in Dead Space, it kind of made sense having it on your back.
A rhythm of four. The heartbeat of a Time Lord.
Having the HUD on your spine made sense in that world because, I mean, if you're out on a spacewalk with your partner and Jeff wasn't responding for a while, you could just look over and see Jeff floating there with his health bar blinking red. You know he's dead.
My name is Jeff.
But in the Callisto Protocol, I mean, why? We wake up, drugged to the gills in our cell, and we see this purple cube.
Wait.
Trust me, we'll get there. The prison is wrecked. There's smoke billowing out of B-Wing. Good. You see some fighting off in the distance, implying a prison riot. But let's be real, we all know what's going on, right? Necro Boyle boys are tearing the prison apart and splooging everywhere. We make our way around and find a prisoner who isn't dead.
Oh, shit.
Yet. I think now would be a good time to pause and just talk about the actual, like, cast of the game. We got the main character, Jacob, played by Josh Duhamel. I hope I said that right. You might recognize him from such things as Terminator, Transformers. You might recognize him from such things as Transformers. I was so convinced that he was the actor from The Mandalorian that when I searched his IMDb and it told me he wasn't in it, I didn't believe it. So I went to go look it up, and instead it's Timothy David Oliphant. Oliphant. This has nothing to do with the video, I just wanted you to know that. We've got Danny, the freedom terrorist, but I personally know her as the most beautiful woman I've ever seen break an arm like it was nothing. Kimiko, from that show, The Lads. Elias is played by Zeke Porter, James C. Mathias III as Warden Cole, and Sam Witwer as Captain Ferris, Louise Barnes as Dr. Mauler, and Jeff Shine as Max. Oh, his name was Max! So we got like a rich cast who know what they're doing. And I think they did well with what they were given. Like, they tried. Elias gives us a shiv made from a fucking spanner or something. Oh, we make our way towards the tower and end up killing two normal humans.
Stop! Wait!
Jacob, that guy was begging you to stop. And from there, we make our way towards Solitary.
Like, mutants and shit breaking out,
Something's wrong
but they
with
had an
the
army
elevator.
of
I'm heading
robots,
down, not
so
up.
there shouldn't have been a problem.
That means you're headed to Solitary. You can still reach the watchtower. Just have to go the long way.
We make our way through the area, and this is actually where we get the stun baton in the armory. And try to sneak past Captain Ferris. Honestly, the word sneak is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. I ran past him and started like hitting the glass, and he didn't even notice I was there. He only noticed us when we very quietly touched the door controls. Scratches windows? Who gives a fuck? Touches door? You gone too far. Who the fuck do you think you are touching his door? Anyway, he gets chokeslammed through a window after using the force to kill this guy. I'm sure he's gone for good. We make it through and we get rewarded with our first ranged weapon in the game, the hand cannon. Well, we have to buy it. There's a convenient box right next to the forger that has exactly the right amount of money in there to buy the gun. Something I wish I'd have known on my first playthrough, instead of selling nearly everything I owned to buy that gun. Anyway, after we bought the free gun, we're told by Elias to get into the maximum security cells because there's someone there that we need to get out. After leaving this area, we get introduced to a new recurring enemy, Hentai Personified.
Oh,
This is the one from the trailers. Yeah, you know the one. We fight our way through and eventually release the prisoner, who, of course, is Danny. She instantly attacks us and locks us in her cell, which I have no idea how she couldn't get out of, because we get out of there in 2 minutes. We make our way down into the waste management system to try and escape through there. This is where we get our very own Shawshank moment by crawling through, shall we say, human waste. After a quick surf down the old poop chute, we end up in the biodome, where we meet back up with Elias and he gives us the armor, which gives us 6 extra slots, and apparently it increases your health. As we're putting on the armor though, Captain Ferris shows up and he's seen better days.
Goodness, I better myself. There's always a price to pay.
He opens the airlock and we get blasted out onto the snowy surface of Callisto. And this part of the game I thought was alright. We get blasted out onto the snowy surface and we gotta make our way back into the prison through a blizzard. I thought it was kind of fun. I was actually like really curious about this part, whether Callisto actually had an atmosphere, and it turns out it does. It has a really thin atmosphere. Anyway, we make our way through the snow, encountering the odd enemy here and there, but nothing we can't handle with our trusty non-lethal baton. And we find Elias, whose helmet has been cracked, so he slowly suffocates. I guess Jacob hasn't heard of the buddy system either. It is actually kind of brutal to watch. He's like slowly suffocating. He's dying very slowly. At least until like Danny drives by in a fucking tank. Only stopping to rip Elias's core out and move on like a fucking G. We eventually end up riding in the tank with her though, after we save her life from the Boyle boys and open a gate for us to get through in the hangar. I completely forgot to write it down here. Danny seems to think that we caused the problems on Europa with our transport stuff. But Jacob keeps telling her we're only transporting medical supplies. So she takes us back to the crash of the ship and we examine it and open up the box she's talking about, and yes, indeed, inside there is only medical supplies. Unfortunately, it turns out the warden is very much alive and well. When we signal for a ship to come and save us, it crashes. And then we end up falling hundreds of feet and splattering to the ground and dying. Okay, you don't die. Somehow. You're able to catch onto a vent somehow and climb back inside and find the original colony that the prison was built on.
How did she get down here?
And this is finally where the story started to get interesting for me. I know, now, right? And I've only been talking for 9 pages, shit. Okay, let's get through this next bit quickly, shall we? So, was that too quick? We make our way to the warden's office, but first we go down to Dr. Mauler's office, or lab, at the bottom of the facility, and link up with Danny's core. Jacob learns that he was actually involved on the attack in Europa.
Wait a minute. Strike that. Reverse it. Thank you.
And he didn't know about it. But he did. Because he found the vials inside of the medical container. But he didn't know he was involved. But he knew he was transporting something. But he didn't know he was involved in what happened. Oh! This is the payoff I was talking about earlier with the purple Lamont configuration, or Lament. Lament? Lamont. Depends which film you go by. It was never a cube. It was one of the vials of the virus. So this is why that the whole cube thing makes no sense. Because Danny saw the cube too. And why did Jacob see the cube in his cell? Because he never saw the cube. Danny did. I think the cube was supposed to represent like one of her sister's toys or something. But Danny would have seen that, not Jacob. So why was Jacob seeing it as well as Danny? I know people are going to say like, well, no, he's seen it because they were sharing their memories, weren't they? No, he saw it before they started sharing their memories. So how did he see it? It makes no sense. Why was he seeing something that he had no frame of reference for? What? Oh yeah, Danny's infected now. This is why she looks like this now. Fuck me, this part is getting way too long. Okay, so Mauler temp cures Danny and tells us to get the DNA of an alpha, which Ferris is, who is now working with the warden. So we've got to go to the warden's office and kill the alpha so we can get his DNA to make a cure for Danny. And this is where we get to fight Ferris for the last time. He's turned into one of those things from I Am Legend.
Determine the true survivor.
Holy shit!
Humanity. Or my out.
This fight's really fucking boring. I mean, you just... It has 2 phases. The first phase is that you've got to dodge him 4 times and then hit him. As opposed to, like, a normal enemy dodging 3 times and hitting him. Ooh. In the second phase, there's actually an interesting mechanic. So, Ferris then changes into this big monster. I don't really know how to describe it. Think... a golem from Dragon Age, but made of flesh. So yeah, there's a slightly interesting mechanic in this fight where Ferris grows like a shield around his face. And that's the only place you can hurt him, is by shooting him in the face. So you gotta shoot that, enough time for it to break, and then shoot him in the face. And that's it. That's the only mechanic of this fight.
Wait, was that it? he's gonna go blah, 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 blah.
And that's it. That's the end of the fight. I mean, you take the DNA from Ferris. The warden turns back up and gives you the whole
This isn't over yet.
bad guy thing before setting the place on self-destruct.
The self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been...
You cure Danny, put her in an escape pod, and give her a vial of the virus or something, and send her off. A very fragile-looking vial, I might add. I mean, it would be very unfortunate if she landed on Earth and it broke. That'd be unfortunate, wouldn't it? The fucking end.
With, in conclusion, bland, overused, and predictable.
God damn, that story part was a lot. But I wanted to give you guys a proper, like, rundown of the story before I, you know, told you my thoughts. Personally, now this is just my opinion, okay? Now take it how you will. It's completely up to you how you take this. I thought the game was pretty poor. I mean, some of the story stuff just doesn't make sense how it happened. It feels like it happened because it happened. Do you know what I mean? Like, his ship blowing up. How? And I know people go, well, he opened the cargo bay, Ko. Well, that's why... Sorry, I don't mean to straw man there. Some people say, like, well, he opened the cargo bay, and that's why... If the ship is exploding. And my response to that is, what? What a shitty design of a ship. I know you're not supposed to open the cargo bay in space. I'd imagine. And I'm telling you, the air conditioner's not working properly because Jacob is sweating like fuck. What was the whole thing about the purple cube? Look, I get it. It was there to hide the tube from the audience. But from a gameplay standpoint, that didn't make sense because Danny saw it first.
Peekaboo. Hello.
Anyway. Oh, yeah, okay. So, them building the prison on top of the colony. I liked that. But I didn't like it because it was a shadowy organization. Okay, do you know what I mean? Like, the whole thing of it being a shadowy organization kind of just made it... do you know what I mean? But, like, it would have made more sense if it was, like, military thing, or they didn't even know. They just built on top of it. Do you know what I mean? Something like that, rather than, like, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? I mean, what else is there really for me to say? Like, I found the combat mechanics so boring. The game did get me with a few jumps, but, like, as I said earlier, like, I'm someone who can jump at the fucking ooh-woo sound. So it's not like, you know, ooh, oh my god, whoa. I jump so fucking easily. It's ridiculous. All in all, I thought this game was very meh. You know, I didn't think it was breaking any new ground or anything like that. And no, I'm not expecting every new game I play to be like a fucking game changer. But like, the amount of hype that was surrounding this game and the amount of things I was hearing about it, I just expected more. I really do like feel cheated of spending like, what was it, like £54 on this game, £54.90, that's £55, something like that. I really do feel like that was a waste of my money. I wish I hadn't bought it. It's good that I did because I actually get to talk about it. But like, I really wish it had come out on like Game Pass or something. Then I wouldn't have felt so bad. If it was on Game Pass and I was able to just play it, I would have been like, yeah, it was an alright game. But I think I got more upset with this game because I was expecting more, but I really just wasn't getting it. For the money I spent, it honestly was just blech. And the thing is as well, is that like, it wasn't just the money, it was like the whole thing as well, from the creators of Dead Space. And I loved Dead Space 1 and 2, and I actually liked 3 as well. I know. Contrary. But, I mean, I actually did really enjoy all of them. And then when it came up, I was like, oh, it's going to be a new Dead Space-esque game. Because it's not actually Dead Space. But it's, like, in the vein of it. And it's, like, you know, by the creators of it. Like, oh, here we go, yeah. It honestly just felt like a Dead Space 1 remake. Which I will be buying. And I probably will do a short video on. Because I can't imagine there's much to talk about that. I think it's just probably going to be Dead Space, but better graphics. Really? But like, they were able to sell this just on that line alone. from the creators of Dead Space. They were selling it so hard on that. And you can't tell me that they weren't, because they were selling collector's editions of the game for, how much was it? £200. That's about $250 US. Future KoPro, yeah. So basically, I did have an actual picture that I was working from in the script, but while moving everything around, it is gone. I found pre-orders at £200, which then went for 250 USD. But the picture I found while editing this obviously said something very different. I apologize. Like I said, I personally think this was like a proper disappointment for me, and it's not a game I'll ever go back and play. It's not. Anyway, guys, that's enough rambling from me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you were a big fan of this game, honestly, thank you for sticking out to this point. I know I said a lot of stuff that you didn't agree with, and I might have said one or two things that you might have. I don't know, but thank you for sticking out. Like I said, this is just my personal opinion, my experiences with the game, and I felt like I needed to do this because I've had a couple of people ask me about it, and giving the same answer over and over again was kind of getting annoying. So I was like, well, tell you what, I'll just put a video up explaining it. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and I will see you maybe next time. I don't know. I might do this again. Who knows?